Good morning. Just open up a new carton of milk here. Gonna make myself some milky coffee, very milky. It is Thursday, September 15th, almost 7:15 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Let me pop this back in the fridge. So, this morning, I am going to continue reading about anxiety igniting thoughts. Oh, let me microwave this. You know, you're the first people that I talk to in the morning, provided I don't talk to myself. And I don't know, maybe I should do singing exercises or something to get my vocal cords all limbered up in the morning. Always clearing my throat. Anyway, I'm going to have some decaf this morning, decaf Voltesso. And the reason is I'm going over before I substitute teach today to visit my daughter, and we're going to have coffee together, and her coffee has a lot of caffeine. So I'm going to start off with some decaf. I have a nice hot milky drink this morning. Oh, let's see, I don't want, yeah, it's okay. Let me just grab that out of the microwave in a second, and I'll get my coffee going, and then we will talk about the tendency to make our problems into catastrophes. That's called catastrophizing. Okay, oh good, this feels nice and warm. So, here we go. Voltesso is a rather low intensity on the scale that Nespresso uses, but it is full of a flavor that's just got a lot of character, and I really enjoy it. And you know, you would think that if you're going to use a lot of milk that you would need a super intense coffee, but no, you just need one that's got character in the flavor. Oh, okay. Let me put the spoon in the sink. Oh, you know, every time I make a cup of this, I'll try other coffees, you know, have other kinds of coffee drinks, and then I'll have a morning like this where I say, oh, you know, I'm just going to have some Voltesso or some Voltesso decaf. Is this Voltesso? Wait. I just ordered some Voltesso for the, my big machine. Voluto! Oh! I take that, this is Voluto. Voluto, Voltesso. Okay, see? Now look. See, I ordered this Voltesso for my, what's the big machine? Golly, see, now I'm all nervous, and you're seeing me flustered. No, it's not an Inferno. It's an Nespresso Virtuo. Oh my goodness, this is me flustered, okay? And so I had not tried Voltesso for a really long time, so I ordered some. And it's a, you know, similar, the capsule. Here, I'll show you. See the color of the capsule? It's a sort of a, you know, golden kind of color. And the, all right, I already ejected this. Here we go. I'll take it out. And see, the Voluto is a similar kind of color. Okay, but this morning, I am not drinking Voltesso. I am drinking Voluto. And as I was saying before I interrupted myself with confusion, I was trying to say that when I come back to Voluto, like this morning, where, by the way, the decaf Voluto and the regular, I find no difference in the flavors. They taste, I wouldn't know if I was having the decaf or the regular. But whenever I come back to it, I always am reminded of how much I enjoy it. It's got a really good flavor. Okay, so talking about catastrophes, not confusion, catastrophes. Okay. Catastrophizing is the tendency to make our problems into catastrophes. When you catastrophize, a small setback seems like a huge disaster. If you are a person who feels that your whole day is ruined if one specific thing goes wrong, you are catastrophizing. Okay, and this, you're doing this in the thinking part of your brain, which means you can think your way out of it, okay? There's a part of your brain that is based in feelings and memories. The part of your brain that reacts with like fight or flight, and it's more difficult to change the anxiety that comes from that part of your brain. But the part that comes from the thinking part, the cortex of your brain, you can change that. But let's listen to some, here, this is an assessment. See how many of these describe you, okay? I often imagine the worst when I am thinking about how some situation might turn out. I can make a mountain out of a molehill. You know, one of the things this makes me think of is, and you hear a lot of jokes about it, when people go back to work frequently on a Monday and, you know, maybe they're not happy to be at work or something goes wrong and they say, oh, well, it's a Monday, you know, of course. In a little bit of a way, that's a bit of catastrophizing, because what you're saying is, you know, oh my gosh, it's Monday. It's like you got this negative attitude expecting the worst. And you might joke about it, but some people really do feel that way, like, oh boy, what's going to happen next, you know? Also, I know, and I've done this myself at times, and I know other people that do this. First thing in the morning, if something goes wrong, they just have this negative attitude towards the rest of the day. Oh boy, you know, you ever hear the expression, you know, she got up on the wrong side of the bed? Well, sometimes we let our minds kind of run away with us because at the beginning of the day, something happens that is not what we would want. And, or, you know, maybe it is a difficult or bad thing. And then we feel like, oh, this is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. Okay, here's another one. Is this you? People would think I am going crazy if they knew the awful thoughts that go through my mind. I often feel as if I can't handle one more thing going wrong. When something doesn't turn out the way that I want it to, I find it difficult to cope. You know, you see this kind of reaction in children a lot. Something goes wrong, maybe, you know, a toy breaks, or they can't find something they want, or you want them to put their clothes on in a different order than they want to put them on. You know, it depends on the age of the child and what the situation is. They didn't get asked out by, you know, somebody that they wanted to go out with or something. Or maybe they did poorly on a test or not as well as they were expecting. And they fall apart. They cannot handle it. Well, as adults, sometimes we have this type of reaction too. You know, it may help if you have trouble with that to think about children and the fact that you're not a child and you do have a choice how you respond to situations. Okay, I admit that I overreact to problems that others would not consider so much of a concern. You know, being on Facebook and YouTube like I am, sometimes I will share or talk about things that I'll get a message from someone saying, you know, why did you say this or that? You know, and they'll be very defensive maybe because it sort of struck a chord with them. And I had a situation once where a lady got in touch with me, and I had made a joke about something, and she didn't think it was funny at all. She took it very personally, and we messaged back and forth. And then a little while later, she messaged me, and she said, you know, I talked to a friend about this, and she helped me to realize that this was not aimed at me. You don't even know me, so, you know, how could it have been aimed at me? I'm so sorry that I got so hysterical about this. So, you know, she was overreacting to something, and then when she had a chance to sit back and think about it, she realized, oh, wait, I'm blowing this all out of proportion. Do you do that kind of thing regularly is the question. Not do you do it sometimes. It happens to all of us sometimes. But with these things I'm reading, are these a pattern in your life that keep on happening? Even a small setback, like being stopped for a traffic light, can infuriate me. Sometimes what begins as a small doubt in my mind becomes an overwhelming negative thought as I dwell on it. Okay, if you agreed with many of these statements, you may well have a tendency to catastrophize. And one of the things that can help you is, if you find yourself doing something like this, sit back, take a breath, and try to think about the situation. Now, sometimes we get ourselves so worked up that it's difficult to sit back and take a breath. But if you found that you agreed with many of these things I read, that they fit you or they describe your situation, it may well be good to talk with somebody about, you know, how to deal with these things so that before these things happen, you maybe can be on the lookout, you know, like say to yourself, okay, when my day starts, especially if it's a Monday, if things go wrong, I am going to step into the bathroom for just a second, close the door, look in the mirror and say, this is not the end of the world. Calm down. Okay? Or something like that. You know, you can think of something. And also mindfulness. We hear that word a lot these days. But sort of being present in the now, rather than letting your mind tumble forward to all kinds of things that may never happen. So, in other words, I'm saying, you know, trying to be reasonable about what's going on instead of getting yourself worked up. That's something that would help if you're a person that tends to catastrophize things. Well, I'm going to drink my coffee. Oh, I need to get over to my daughter so I can drink coffee with her. Hey, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.